Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. The more I look at this dog, the more I think it's like a hound or something like that. So, I just finished speaking with my aunt. Remember the aunt who was supposedly selling me a house and I would fix up the house. You saw that on the other video. And for every dollar that I would spend in fixing up the house, that would be taken off the mortgage. Well, I finally pinned her down to ask her, was she selling me the house or was I simply renting? And she said, simply renting because everything has to go through the husband, or he's a partner, of course, right? He's her husband. So I would be renting. Now, I'm making this video to show you this deal and what a horrible, horrible deal this is. So let's break down the basics here. Renting is not equal to buying. There's a lot of people who confuse renting with buying. A lot of the financial gurus will tell you, oh, it's in your best interest to rent. No, it is never in your best interest to rent. Why? Because humans are not computers. What does that have to do with anything? The people who are telling you that it's in your best interest to rent in this market, or when the economy is like this, or when the economy is like that, what they're saying is, for the same amount that you would be purchasing a house and making all of the expenses that go along with buying a house, that you could take the difference and invest it. And humans are not computers. Humans do not, at the end of every month, go, rent check due in a couple of days, sign check, investment check, send to broker. No human does that. And even the investors don't do that. It is never in your best interest to rent. The only time that you should rent is you simply cannot come up with a down payment on the house or whatever. But if you are, and I'm looking at black people here, if you are of the mind for black people to get ahead, you make sure that your children stay home, collect their money for the time for 3, 4, 5 years, get themselves go to college or whatever they're going to do, collect a down payment, and then look for a terrible house that's run down and beat up like the one that I showed you, right? Buy it, fix it up, you're good to go. You should never rent. Now, let's look at the deal that she was trying to offer me. She was trying to offer me simply because it's available, since the house was available. She was trying to offer me to rent the house, and the money that I would have spent on fixing up the house would have gone to rent. But hold on. Let's get into the fine print. When I said I want the main room, the living room, as my studio, and I want to knock down the wall separating the living room and the kitchen so it is an open concept, she said, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to pay for it. I said, also, I need to revamp the house because the house is a 1966 house. That has nothing to do with me. A house is a house. Oh, really? Oh, really, Miss, I have about 50 houses, and most of them are brand spanking new with the entire new look to them. That looks exactly like the 1960 house on with the asbestos in the popcorn ceiling and the asbestos on the shingles on the outside. It's all the same thing? No, it's not. Black people, you need to evaluate each and every. And when you're talking about living, your living expenses, your mortgage, your rent. You need to make it happen and look at it as an investment. Every single dollar every month that you are putting into your living expenses, it's an investment. It's not just, I'm just spending money. When you buy tennis shoes, that's when you're spending money. It's not an investment. When you buy a car, that's just spending money. It's not an investment. When you buy that, go to Starbucks because all the cool kids go to Starbucks, that's just spending money. That's not an investment. Your living expenses are an investment. And if you're smart about it, you can set yourself up pretty good for the future if you look at your living expenses as an investment and think 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 10 or 15 years down the road, what is your situation going to look like? Are you investing in a ratty house, renovate it, live in it for a few years? And do you know that there's even government programs that will help you out with down payments if you agree to live in the house as your primary resident for about 5 years? Yes, this money is available and it just sits available. You need to look that up. I'm not here to look up things on the internet for you. I get tired of people asking that. When they see stuff on CNN, they don't ask them to look it up for them. I don't do it for you either. Now, sorry about that. I am sick. You need to look at your living expenses as an investment. What is your situation going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? And do you think that if you bought a ratty house, built it up, lived in it for that long, could you then sell it? And then everything that you put into renovating the house, you need to ask the question, will this get me more money? Because sometimes putting stuff in a house, even if it's a ratty house, still doesn't give you a return on your money. So you always want to look on the side of, will this give me a return on my money? Not everything put into a house gives you a return. And when I say return, I'm not talking about every dollar spent is a dollar back. I'm talking about every dollar spent is $1.50, $2, $3 back. That's what I'm talking about, an actual return. You want to get that sort of return on everything that you put into the house. And you do not want to put anything into the house that does not give you such a return. Dollar for dollar, that's not a good return. Because we're actually then looking at a future date. So dollar for dollar, you then have to calculate inflation. If you're doing dollar for dollar, you're losing money. You see, you always have to be making money. So this deal was a horrible, horrible situation. So I would be investing with a negative return into renovating a house for her. She would get out of it a fully renovated house. And then, as I was speaking to my neighbor, she could, if she wanted to, kick me out the next day. Kick me out the next month. Oh, we have a falling out. We already had a falling out when I pinned her down as to what the actual terms of what was going on was supposed to be. And when she said rent, no, absolutely not. That is not a benefit to me. I said I have real estate investment friends. They do this each and every day, each and every month. They go find a ratty house, they renovate it, they flip it. Not only do they get to pay off all of the renovation costs, but they make $40,000 and $50,000 on selling the house. Why in the world would I renovate a house for you? Miss, I'm too old for this. And then turn around and give it back to you when I move out with nothing to show for it. Nothing. That makes no sense. Now, all of you listening to me, black, blue, green, yellow, white, polka dotted, that is not a good deal. That's a fantastic deal for her. She just screwed me out of $50,000. Oh, but she's your aunt. No, not in business, honey. Not in business. And this is business. If I'm spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, that's business. That's not love. Love is free. Love is a hug. Love is a kiss. Love is prayer. That's it. That's love. Anything else is business. Learn from this deal. It is a horrible deal. Now, I want you to think about all the deals that you make. I want you to think about every time you reach into your pocket, are you getting a return on it? Why are you buying Starbucks at $3 a cup, $4 a cup, $5 a cup? To do what? Why are you buying those shoes that don't even last and are made in China and cost pennies on the dollars to make? Why are you doing that? You know what? You can get a classic look as far as your clothes are concerned for a very reasonable price. Never be out of style. But then again, never be out of pocket where you are putting stuff on your credit card. Think about it. This was a horrible deal. Learn from it. And I want you to take this to heart and think about this. Thank you.